Hi everyone, Steven here from Big Fish Audio, and now that we're up to the 3.0 version of our KLI series, which stands for Kontakt Loop Interface, we thought this was a good time to create a video showing some tips and tricks to getting the most out of these libraries. And perhaps some of you have been on the fence about using loop content in Kontakt as opposed to using a standard Wave, Rex, or Apple loop, something you may be more used to. Well, this video is going to show you the depth of customization and flexibility you get from using a KLI series library. I think one of the biggest issues that we hear from customers is that when using loops, it can be difficult to find a loop that works with the music you already have in the works. You may have a specific groove or melody, chord progression, and finding a loop to match that can be daunting. Well, I'm going to show you how to use the KLI series to its maximum potential of getting the most flexibility and creativity when using loops in your music. Now, I'm not going to get into every detail, every button, every function of the KLI series. We have another video that does a full walkthrough, which you will want to check out as well. And finally, before I get into this tutorial, you should note that you do need the full version of Kontakt 5 to run a 3.0 version of KLI. This does not work in the player, and it's only for Kontakt 5. Previous versions, KLI 2.0, 1.0, there was Kontakt 4 patches as well, and now we're just moved on to just doing 5. So let's get right into this. Now, before I started this video, I had put together a quick little guitar part. Two guitars here. I have a guitar chug part and a tremolo lead. So I'm going to play that for you so you can hear it. Okay, I'm going to bring back in that bass patch that I had, and this is what we call our slice loop patch. This is an individual loop that allows you to adjust any of the individual slices using a number of different parameters at the top. You can also notice that the keyboard in the bottom, these blue keys, is basically each of the notes has been laid out on a different key, and that means you can play back this loop as one-shots from different notes, or you can trigger the loop from any point that you want. So if you need to rearrange a loop to get it to work, just simply hit a MIDI note, and I can jump around on this loop however I want. So I'll play back this loop for you so you can hear what it really sounds like originally. Okay, so couple problems here with this guitar part that I have. Okay, we're in a different key, and even if I was in the right key, I don't think my chord progression is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and first let's get it to the right key. So up here in the global tune, I'm just going to go up a whole step. We're in the right key now, but it still doesn't match my track. So what I need to do is we're going to see if we have the right chords within this track to get this to work with my guitar part. And we do have this is the first chord here. It's the root of the first chord. Now I need that second chord. So I can jump around into this loop. So if I go from here, we have the first two notes that I need for my bass part. Now, in this loop, I don't have the third chord. So that's the one I need there in measure 3. So what I can do is I can go into pitch mode here, and I can take another section here and get the note that I need to match that third chord. So I'm going to take this right here and take all of these steps up by 3 half steps here. Okay, that's my third chord, but it doesn't sound very good. It's all choppy now. So what happened there was as you pitched it up, it is speeding up the audio to get it to be that pitch. A new addition to KLI 3.0 is we can change the playback engine. So we're currently in sampler mode, and I'm going to switch this over to Time Machine Pro. And now I have my third chord. So here's the first 3 in a row. Now I just need the fourth chord. Those first 3 notes work. but I don't want I don't want to keep going there. I need a different little ending to that, so I'm going to go like this. So you can see I'm just jumping around on this loop and triggering it from wherever I need to, and on top of that, adjusting the pitch of certain notes so that I can actually match my track. So let's go ahead and record this in. And then I can just copy this over to the second half. Now this is what it sounds like all together. Cool. So now I've taken this bass part that did not work with my track whatsoever, adjusted the overall key, adjusted a couple of the notes to make it to work, and then I could jump around in the loop to get all of the parts to work with the guitars. So that's great. Let's move on and look at a couple other ways that we can use the KLI series. This is another slice loop patch. This is a drum part, also from Momentum, and it sounds like this. Okay, so what I can do with this is a nice punchy sounding drum part is there's an icon on the top right hand corner here of the waveform window, and I can take that and drag it directly into my track. And now I have a MIDI file generated that I can go in and edit however I like. So bring this over here. So each of these slices again is a different hit from that loop. So I can go in and make any changes I like. Okay, I just want to add like an extra little snare accent there. So I'm going to just find another snare part there. And we'll do the same thing at the end of the loop. I want to add another snare part here. I think I want it there. Yes. So now my drum part sounds like this. Just changed it subtly, added those extra snare accents at the ends of the fourth and eighth measure. But it just shows you how flexible these things are, and there's multiple ways that you can edit them. So let's move on to another track now. Here I have one more slice loop patch before we move on, and I'm going to show you their kit combos and what you can do with those. And this is a simple strums part that sounds like this. So the nice thing about this loop is I'm in the right key. I don't have to change anything there, but the progression again is wrong. So let's quickly find the right chords that we need on here. There we go. So it's this one. So we just have to skip a couple there. We're starting from the last chord of the loop, going to the beginning, and then skipping over to another chord on there. So let's record that in. Okay, great. We're going to move on now to what I was telling you about the kit combos. Kit combos are different because we have a number of different loops all laid out on the keyboard. You can see here on the bottom by groups, and they have their own channels. They have their own effects that you can add to them and apply. Again, I'm not going to get into too much of the additional details, but I do want to show you a couple of cool things about the kit combos. For starters, we can change my pan mode over here to tune. And let's listen to the really powerful pitch stretching in the kit combos here. So this is the original key of it. Let's go down for 4 half steps here. Let's go down a little further. And the great thing about the tuning in here is it preserves the non-tonal elements of the sound. So that grit and distortion on the top, that doesn't change. It's only changing the pitch of the actual fundamental and harmonics that are actually building the note itself. So all the drive and pick noise and stuff like that, that doesn't get changed as you adjust the tune of any of these loops. So that's one way you can adjust the tune, but also you can do it globally. At the bottom of the keyboard, we have these red keys here, and you can see there's one green key, which is the original key of this loop, and these will all change globally, with the exception of anything that's non-melodic. So the drums won't pitch up or pitch down as you adjust these, but only melodic elements will change. So we can find this one here. And what I can actually do with these pitch keys is I can actually perform with them. So instead of just changing it to be in a different key, if I have a loop like this, and it's nice that it's just on one note there, so I can actually perform my own part here. So let's go ahead and record something into this track using those keys at the bottom. All right, so we've managed to take a bass part, a drum part, a guitar strum part, and a guitar plucks part, most of all of which didn't work with my track at all, and got it to fit within the music that I was already working with. Now, I do want to show you a couple other things, so we're going to switch gears here and move over to a trap kit. Okay, I have a kit combo open here from a product called Encore from VIP Loops, and I've already put together a few parts from here just so we can get started on these next things that I want to show you. So I will go ahead and hit play here, and we'll listen to this. Okay, so that's the foundation of the track we're working on here. So let's load in the next one here, and I have a slice loop patch. And differently from before with the rock stuff, this particular loop actually would work with this track. But we can use some of these features here to just make it a little bit more creative, make it a little bit, just change it from the original sound it had, get a little bit more sound design going on. So let me play this loop for you so you can hear what it sounded like. And the second half is about the same. So what I can do in here is we can let's just change some of the pitches of some of these slices on here. So let's take this guy right here, and we're going to take it down 7 half steps there. And we'll do the same thing to this guy. And then let's go... let's go to the end here, and we're just going to drop this last section down a full octave. So that now sounds like this. Okay. So now we can go ahead and just rearrange this part a little bit and see what we can come up with. Okay, now we could even take this a step further, and let's go to the low pass cutoff. And we're just going to adjust this section right here, and then we'll go like this, and now let's listen to how that sounds. Okay, so let's move on to this horns part here from a kit combo, and I'm going to do something similar to what I did with that final guitar of the pop rock section. I'm going to take this horns part. Let me see if I can find it here. And I'm just going to kind of re-perform this using the pitch keys here down at the bottom. And there you go. That one was a little bit different because it wasn't just a static single note thing. I was actually re-triggering the loop as I would adjust the keys at the bottom, changing the pitch, getting a kind of a half step up melody followed by a whole step below, a typical thing you would hear in music like this. Okay, now that I've added that in, we'll go to one more track here, another slice loop track, and I'm going to put this in one-shot mode, where before, when I would trigger any section of the loop, it would continue on to the additional slices after it. In this way, by going to one shot, everything just becomes a single hit. It's not going to change over to the next sample. So let's go ahead and follow that horns line a little bit, and we'll find the pitches that we need here. And we'll take that up a half step, and we'll take this down a whole step. Okay, and let's look at one last loop here, and we have a bells loop. This is from a product called Trap Royalty, also by VIP Loops, and it sounds like this. Okay, so this loop was originally recorded somewhere around 75 BPM, and my track here, as you can see, is at 150 BPM. So it's actually going double time of what it was originally. So I can use this BPM times button, and let's go to 0.5 on this, and now it sounds like this. So now it's actually a little bit slower than the original tempo, so you're getting those gaps in between each of the slices. So again, let's go change our playback engine to Time Machine Pro, and now it sounds like this. Okay, so now we have the loop as we want it to sound in terms of the tempo, but it's still not quite matching the melody that we have in the horns and that vocal effects part that we have there. So I can go ahead and go into the pitch here. Take these two down a whole step, and now let's record this in. And there you have it. So I know I only covered a few musical styles here, but the KLI series is full of libraries in as many different styles and genres that you can think of. Hopefully this video has given you some inspiration to never look at music loops the same again. And we really feel that with the KLI series, we've brought creativity and flexibility into loop content to a new level. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to check out some of our other KLI walkthroughs and tutorials to learn even more of what you can do with this amazing series.